Ideal Protein Nation. Let's go. Let's go. This month of May is the best month of the year as far as I'm concerned. I have got some great shows lined up. We've had some amazing guests over the past couple of weeks, but I'm super, super excited about tonight. Tonight, I've got one of our own here at my office at Reset Wellness, an amazing lady, an amazing story that so many people are going to be able to connect with. So I can't wait to get this out. So I'm just going to get to it. For those of you that might be new to the Life Possible podcast, the Life Possible podcast was started during the pandemic. And I decided that we needed to get the ideal protein stories out there to help so many people that were shut in, worried about their health and their weight and all those kinds of things. So I created the Life Possible podcast to spotlight successful clients, coaches, and clinic owners who have used the ideal protein program to reset their body, reset their mind, and literally reset what's possible for their lives. These people are living lives that we refer to as life possible because they're pursuing goals and dreams that they thought were dead and gone. They're pursuing goals and dreams that they never even thought they could in some instances. So why am I even doing this? Well, I tell you what, my name's Dr. John Barnes, and there's no easy way to put this, but back in 2015, I was fat, sick, and depressed, and it was new to me. I'd never had a weight problem before. And I didn't see a way out. I could not get out of it this time. So I gave up. And I truly believe that God brought me the Ideal Protein Protocol as the answer to so many of my prayers, both personally and professionally. And so these days, I'm living a life that I feel is healthy, vibrant, and alive. This is pictures of me in 2021, where I was able to accomplish a lifelong dream of finishing a half Ironman triathlon at the age of 54, which the guy in that last picture wasn't even hardly making it to and from the fridge. So that's why I'm doing this show. And who do I have for you today? I tell you what, I've got Debbie Parmenter. Debbie is, like I said, she's a client of ours. She is beloved by all of our coaches and team. Actually, her story starts way back in 2017. I've got both of these before and after pictures up here because she has done Ideal Protein now twice to the tune of losing over 190 pounds between those two different episodes. So we're going to talk about this. She had amazing results back between 2017 and 2018, found herself in a position where she needed to do it again. And she was at a weight that she'd never seen before. And what went into the decisions to call the office to even get started, and her fears, and would it work again? Would it do what it did the first time? And we're here to tell you, spoiler alert, it sure did, and more. So shut up, John, bring her out. Where is she? Let's get her out here. Hey, Debbie, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing really good. I know it's been a frazzling night for you already. You're not even in your own home. You pulled off on the side of the road, knocked on a door, somebody let you in. And so you're coming to us from a friend's house in Georgetown, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, yeah. So Deb, are you nervous?
Just a little bit. This is my first time doing something like this.
I know that this is way outside your comfort zone, and I totally appreciate that you're doing this for us. You and I have had so many I just love our coaching sessions. And then when you leave my office, generally you end up in either another coach's office or at the front desk talking for another 10 or 15 minutes because you've had such an amazing experience. Yeah. And other people in the office and other clients are want to know some of the details of what's going on with you. So let's get to it, and let's start sharing with Ideal Protein Nation some of what your story is all about. So I'm going to take you all the way back.
Okay.
And we're going to go all the way back to 2017, 2018. I love this. I stole this from I had to fire up an old computer to get this graphic off of there. But you made our wall of fame in our hall of fame, both you and your husband, because you did the program together, had amazing results. And this is what things looked like back when we were Barnes Chiropractic Health and Fitness in 2018. Tell us a little bit. just kind of summarize my um, first introduction to ideal protein and first weight loss journey with us that back then.
Well, I was in a situation that I was at that time the heaviest that I had ever been, and
Yep.
just didn't know what to do, how to lose it. Just thought that, it's my DNA. My family is my mom. Pretty much most of the ladies on my mom's side of the family are all pretty heavy. And I just thought it's genetics, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that's what happens when you hit this age and you've had kids, and you know that's life. And so I saw a friend, and she I was almost unrecognizable, and I said, "What are you doing? How have you lost weight?" And she told me about ideal protein, and I wanted to find out about it. So I came to one of your midweek sessions on Learn About Ideal Protein, and
Yeah.
was ready to do it right then. Sign me up. Let's start today.
Yeah, so we do a Wednesday night workshop here, like a lot of ideal protein clinics do, because that is one of the best ways to introduce the program, teach everybody what it is, and then field all of those questions that people have
Mhm.
before you decide to jump in with both feet, right?
Yep.
And
Mhm.
so I'm a little crazy during mine, and it's okay if you acknowledge that. But I grab a magic marker, I write all over the whiteboard, doing all the things, and
Yes.
yet people still decide to join.
Yes. Well, and learning the science behind it on why it works uh,
Yeah,
is very helpful. It's not, just eat this, don't eat that. Like, you're learning and you're understanding it works because of this reason. And while you're doing the program, it's very helpful for me understanding how the science works to, I don't want to eat, a certain thing, because man, that's going to set me back 3 days. Like, for me, I know it's 3 days of,
yeah, yeah.
to get back into ketosis or whatnot. So, yeah, the science behind it is very helpful.
Yeah, so it was neat because you and your husband started at the same time.
Yep.
And as people started watching you, we got a flood of other people because they're like, I'll have what they're having, right?
Yes. Yes. I think my husband's whole work team ended up joining, and
Yeah,
uh, after, I don't know, he was on it. Guys lose it even faster than the women. Um, and so he was only on it for 2 or 3 months at the time when people started recognizing it in him and saying, "Okay, what are you doing?
yeah.
We want what you're doing." So I think his whole work team ended up coming and seeing you at various times.
Yeah, and it was kind of great because, especially with those guys, we had some competition going and it was,
Yes.
it was really pretty cool. But the cool thing about that, the other part of it was I could tell that they were all supporting each other at
Yes.
work, that they were
Yes.
all finding ways for each other to stay on plan, to stay on protocol.
Mhm.
And it was quite an experience. There's some of my favorite clients that I've ever had.
Yep. Some
Yeah.
people.
And and so you were very successful and you lost it said over 90 pounds on the thing, but in actuality, it ended up being how many?
105 total. Yep. I lost a middle schooler.
There you go.
Yes. um, yeah. So, I mean, literally lost a person practically, and was night and day on, at the beginning. And again, this go around, we'll talk about that when we get to where I'm at now as well. But just not having energy and being tired, and not wanting to do too much, to
Right.
we can park at the other end of the parking lot, or to let's go hiking here with the kids, or let's go do this adventure. So it definitely, you get your life back.
Absolutely. And then some. And that's truly, again, that's my personal story. I expected to lose weight, but I
Hmm.
did not expect everything else that goes along with it. And even if I just stopped at the return of energy, that
Yes.
alone was so amazing that
Hmm.
I had no idea I would ever feel this way again.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Yes. And for me, what I noticed both times, but one of the first things that I noticed within the first week um,
Hmm.
is I deal with fibromyalgia. So the pain in my body started to go away. And I didn't know for sure if it was ideal protein, but that was that was the only thing I changed really in my life. And I have lots of fur babies at home, and my cat in particular, he at night, he likes to snuggle and he'll jump on the bed and kind of, walk up and snuggle right here. And literally every step that he touches any part of my skin would just feel sharp and painful. And so I just get used to, oh, here he comes, brace yourself, and I don't know, it was probably 5 days into it, he came up one night and I was like, wait a minute, that didn't hurt. And so I was
Right.
like, okay, that's interesting. And I think we were seeing Lori, or Coach Lori at the time.
Yeah.
I think I asked her, hey, does this help fibromyalgia?
You didn't
Because
have any kind of, yeah.
yes, I had no thoughts or ideas that could even be a possibility. It was just something I was noticing even before knowing if I had lost any weight, which I did that first week. I think I lost 8 pounds that first week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was even just extra bonus there. And within 2 weeks of being on protocol, and I think, the food you're eating, it's very anti-inflammatory. You're eating very minimal gluten, very minimal carbs, all of the things. I think my body just really responds to that. So, and I know when we get to where we're at today,
Yeah.
we've got more to talk about that. So,
Yeah, yeah, but that was a great preview. And so,
mhm,
again, if that hooked anybody, understand we're going to talk about this a lot more in depth a little bit later in the show. But that was one of the key things that I remember from that very first time that you came in, hearing that thought that if my cat walks across my body while I'm laying in bed, it's excruciating. That's how bad your fibromyalgia pain was.
mhm,
I don't think if you have it, it's one of those things. If you know, right?
yeah,
And so there are people that are going to say, "Oh my God, that's exactly me." But
mhm,
people like myself who haven't experienced that, I can't even imagine living that way,
mhm,
right?
yeah,
And so, it was kind of funny because in those early years of doing the protocol, there was like a list of things that we understood were connected and
mhm,
that would improve while people were in protocol.
mhm,
But we started to just really adopt an attitude of, you know what? I'm not ruling that out. I'm not ruling that out. I'm not ruling, because people would come in and say, oh my gosh, is there a reason why this is getting better? Is there a reason why I'm feeling this?
mhm.
And so, I feel like I'm a rabbit. I feel like I'm Elmer Fudd hunting rabbits because I constantly am going into these rabbit holes to dive deep into why does this respond to a ketogenic diet, right?
Mhm,
And then if it does, then we can say, well, yes, that's going to respond while people are in phase one because it's a ketogenic protocol,
mhm.
right? Yeah, yeah. So you guys were happy, go lucky. One of the coolest things I remember, we've got a saying on our wall where the in-body scale is, and you and your husband loved that so much, right?
Yes, we bought
That you
t-shirts.
had you had it. You either had the t-shirts made or you found them and you bought them.
Yeah, we found them and we bought them. And it says, when I lost my excuses, I found my results. And that is
Yeah.
very true. Very, very true. You think, oh, I can't do this program because of this. I can't do this program because of that. I can't do it because I travel. I can't do it because I have kids. I can't do, I can't, I can't even think of all the
All
other.
the things, right? But
I'm sure you
there's
hear all
so
the
many
excuses.
excuses,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And where there's
Yeah.
a
So
will, there's a way. You can do it. Yeah.
I love the fact that you guys embrace that motto
Yeah.
and use that for your success. So, like I said, that was back in 2017, 2018.
Hmm.
And so then after that, um, talk to us about what ended up evolving over the past couple of years that might get you in a situation where you had to come back in?
So I think one of my biggest downfalls was I trusted the program up until the time that I was supposed to phase off and trust the program that I could live and learn how to eat and properly phase off and do the macros and all of that. And so I think I called it phase 1.5, where I pretty much, once I phased off, I just used phase 1 as a clutch, where I kept eating phase 1, where maybe I would add a little bit of fat or a carb here or there, but I didn't trust the process. And so I probably went.
And I'm going to call timeout.
Yes.
Back in those days, the process was not all that fantastic. Okay. I will say that. That was back when we had the 4 phases.
Yes. I don't know that we had macros at the time. Did we?
We did not have macros at the time. And we were not seeing the maintenance results that we really wanted to, both personally as well as in our clients. Mm-hmm. So dove down that rabbit hole, came up with our own system really for what we were doing for maintenance for people. And we started to see that work again, both personally and then in our clients. That was long about the time where Ideal Protein rebranded and revamped that phase 2 and 3 of the protocol to what it is today. And, again, it was a situation of them putting procedures on what we had already figured out about protein and fats and carbohydrate intolerance. And so it was amazing when we got that program. And we are just as, if not even more excited about phase 2 nutrition and maintenance as we are phase 1 weight loss, which says a lot because phase 1 is unbeatable.
Yes. Yes.
So we're looking forward to this. We're looking forward to this time, aren't we?
Yes, we are. And I promised it, and I've been telling you this since the beginning. I promised to trust the process and fully embrace it this time and learn how to phase off and all the things that you have to teach me so that I don't end up back here. I don't want to do this again. I want to live life and be able to move and be healthy and all the things. So
all the things.
Yes, all the things. So that was part of my, I think what I did wrong the first time. And then COVID happened. So that was hard to, eating vegetables. We were going to the grocery store once a month and you're trying to do things the way all properly. And, you're stuck in your house for a year and a half or whatever it was
right.
before we started going out again. So, so that was a bit of a challenge. And then life happened. And next thing I know, weight is creeping up. And, I just didn't even know that Ideal Protein would work any. I didn't know if it would work if I did it a second time. And I knew for a long time I needed to come see you. And I struggled with that a little bit because I was feeling like I would let you down or, I had failed.
Yeah.
I knew that I needed to see you, but I was just, I don't know, I was just kind of battling myself with that and found myself, unfortunately, yet again, even heavier than I'd ever been in my life, including the first time that I saw you, and with a lot more health issues than I had ever had in my life. So
yeah. And again, when you came back finally, and I did tell you, I said, you're the only person that's ever done this, right?
No.
Okay. Right? No, right? No. Well, and and like we talked about off camera, life happens, right? And when life comes at you hard, and you were getting one blow after another, right? Yes. And as my friend Sonia Jones says, we don't get to that place just because we like a little pizza, right? It's because what we use pizza for, and we start using pizza for comfort, for anxiety relief, for all those things, and that's when it can slip away pretty quickly, right?
Yeah. And I think once you start eating that way, I don't know, when you're eating protocol and you're eating healthy foods, you feel so good. I feel so
Yep.
good. I can
Right.
tell when I, eat my vegetables at lunchtime, or, eat the protein that, I feel the energy, and I feel that, my brain is more clear to focus on work things or whatever, where my coworkers might say, "Oh, I need some sugar." I don't need sugar. I just need protein and vegetables. But I feel like sometimes when you start going down the rabbit hole and you're eating the carbs and for me, gluten,
Yeah.
you don't feel good. But there's something
Nope.
in your body that's telling you you need carbs, you need a donut,
Mm.
you need bread, pizza, all these things that are not good for you. And it doesn't make your body feel better, maybe
Nope.
while you're eating it, but you don't feel better in an hour, you know? So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's just snowballs. I think it's sometimes even with sugars, or I think that you taught us that even with sweeteners, sometimes when you use sweeteners, there's something in your brain tells you you need something, you need more sweet, something more sweet.
Yeah.
So anyways, it just snowballs. And then next thing you know, you're,
You're
you're,
stuck in that cycle, right?
yes.
And you
Yeah.
think you're too well, and you find yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, especially sugar is just so it's 8 times more addictive than cocaine.
Mhm.
That is out in the research and the literature there. Mice will hit the sugar button more than the cocaine button for sure.
Wow.
You cannot deny that. And so then
Right.
once, like you said, once you kind of get to a point of no return, there's
Mhm.
something inside of you that's constantly telling you to go get that and go do that.
Yeah.
That cycle just needs to be broken again,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
So yeah, tell me about just you broke through the anxiety of making contact and you sent me that email.
Yes. So I was really struggling with some health situations.
Mm.
I started traveling a lot for work,
Mhm.
and my work travels, I'm flying, I'm doing a lot of walking, and I was finding it harder and harder to walk. My legs and my ankles and my feet were swelling tremendously. Um,
Mm.
Super painful. Every step I took just felt like my bones were breaking. I didn't know what was going on. We didn't know if it was my heart. We didn't know if it was, circulation. I was trying to do all the things I could do. I went, saw my GP. She sent me for a heart scan, a cardiac CAT scan.
Yeah.
She sent me to the vein surgeon to check my veins.
Yep.
Um, she did recommend if you could lose some weight, that would probably help, but there was definitely something going on in my body besides the fact that every part of my body was hurting. Just everything hurt. My arms hurt. Like my whole body
Fibromyalgia was back
it was
with
on
it.
high alert. Just the nerve endings everywhere was just, I was in so much pain. So
Mm.
I'm working, I'm traveling, I'm speaking in front of people, trying to
Wow.
stand, and it was a struggle. So I walked in to see the vein surgeon, and even where I had to park, I was struggling to figure out how I was going to walk in to the building to get to his office because of the distance.
Yeah.
And just not be in tears. He also recommended that, well, if you could lose some weight, that would be helpful. He said he didn't think it would solve all my problems, but it would definitely help. We did all the testing and things like that to try to get me a diagnosis. When I left there, I knew that I needed to see you, and I was so grateful to know that I knew how to lose the weight. I
Mm.
knew what was going to work. I feel like a lot of people who would go to a doctor in this situation and the doctor says lose weight, it's kind of goes in one ear and out the other, like, yeah, right, okay. I mean, if it was that easy, I would have done it already. How do I
Thanks,
do
Doc. Great
that?
suggestion. Right?
Exactly. So, but I knew, And I was grateful that I knew what the answer was, but I also knew that I had to kind of get over my own nerves and anxiety of having to come in and say, Dr. Barnes, I'm so sorry. Will you take us back? We need you
Yeah.
again, and you were so gracious. I wrote the email and it was on my computer for a couple of days, and I knew I needed to hit send.
Right? It sat there for a couple of days.
It did. And I told my husband, I said, okay, I'm going to send the email. We had a vacation planned, and I said, I'm going to send the email now so that we can just wrap our minds around this is what's going to happen. If you want to do it with me, you can. If you don't have to, but this is what I am doing. I'm doing it for me. I've got to lose weight. I have to do anything I can to help myself while we're trying to figure out what's going on. And so I hit send on the email, and you were so sweet when you responded and was like, come back, we miss you.
Oh my God. Yeah. Again, I have some favorite clients that we've had over the years, and you guys were right up there. And I'll tell you, when I see somebody, whether it's out in the public or whether they come back in and they're in that position, they've gained all the weight and sometimes more, right?
Mm-hmm.
It breaks my heart for them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I know what they went through to actually make the decision to come in,
Mm-hmm.
right? Nobody wants to be in that situation, right? Nobody tries to get back in that situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just the fact we want to do everything possible for you because we know where you've been, what you've done, and how you can get there again.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we want nothing more than to be there for you. So if you're out there and you've gained all the weight back and you find that you need to do this again, please don't even let it be a second thought.
Yeah.
Right. We are here for you. We will always be here for you. Life is tough, and so is this business. Right. I mean, it's heavy stuff.
Seeing you that first day, and I think I was in tears. I was, I had all the feelings. I was so happy to be back because I knew it was the first day of the rest of my life. This is the last day that I'm going to be in this much pain, in this much weight, this is the last day. And I knew that, and I was excited. And then on the other hand, I was like, I'm coming back, and now I have to see you and all the things. But the whole office you guys are so sweet. I love everyone in there, and you guys welcomed us back. And
I've got the most amazing team. I'm super blessed with all of my coaches. And again, we all know the struggle from within. We all have been there, and sometimes more than once. Right. And that's what people need to understand. They're not the only one out there. That is, to me, that's the devil's biggest trick. Right. That's his number one weapon, is to say, look, you're the only one that's done this. You're the only one that's been through this. So you need to be super ashamed and guilty for what you've done. Right. And they are not, they don't even want to see you. Right. Yeah. That is a lie straight from the pit of hell. Mm-hmm. All right. Absolutely. And so please, if you're hearing those words, get rid of that and get back in here. Let's go.
Call your coach. Send the email.
Call your coach. Yes. Seriously, press the button. Don't let it sit there.
Don't let it sit for 2 days. Hit send.
So, yes. And I remember when you came in and you told me all of these things, and you were like, oh, I don't know if it's going to work. Again, I'm so concerned. I'm so scared. Yeah. And as a coach, as a clinic owner, it is so, I don't even know what the word is. It is so great to be able to look somebody in the eye and tell them honestly, oh, hell yeah, it's going to work again. Yeah,
absolutely. Right? And you did. And I wasn't sure. I'm like, I've done it once and it's worked. Is it a one-shot deal? And, you said, oh, no, absolutely not. It's going to work. And it did. And I remember one of the things that has helped me be successful this time, because I do travel a lot for work, is I had lunch with my coworkers, and I said to them, okay, I am going to be starting this program. And so we eat out a lot. We eat we travel, we just even working close together here locally, and we're eating lunch out, like we eat out a lot. And I said, all right, you guys, they had not seen me. They didn't know me when I was on this program before. And I said, I've been on this program before. I need to make some changes. I'm starting it again. So just so y'all are aware, I'm going to be ordering differently when we go out, and be a little more choosy about the restaurants and things that we go that I will attend. And they have been so fantastic. I think just speaking it out loud, they want, and just making so you're not like quietly, oh, no, I can't have this, or no, I can't. Everybody has been so great. Hey, Deb, check out these 3 restaurants or menus, or are you able to eat at any of these? And, maybe it's just one of the 3, or maybe I could do any of them. And so I was able to tell them, so I'm going to be on this program until about May or June next year. And I could say that with confidence, because I knew that I trusted you when you said, oh no, it's going to work again. I was like, okay.
And so these are huge points that you've brought up, because just like we talked about, when I lost my excuses, I found my results. Your work situation, it is challenging. And because you travel so much, because you eat out so much, and someone will sit through my workshop and say, oh, well, I can't do this. I'm out of town every other week. Or, oh, I can't even bring my lunch to work. So how would I do this? Right. But I love that you set them up by 100% explaining to them I am doing a medical protocol. I need to do this for my health. Please, I'm going to need some of your support. And that disarms all the peer pressure. What do you mean you're trying? If you didn't say that, you're not ordering fries today, Deb? What's wrong with you? Yeah. Oh, well, I'm just trying to stay away. No. Why? Have some of mine. Right.
Yeah. And I think me personally, my personality, I would have been maybe embarrassed to say, I need to have, I have special restrictions. Can you make my, can you prepare my protein with just olive oil? Or, can I do that without butter or the special seasonings? I think I probably would have just been more shy about that. But because right from day one, I told them, I knew none of them cared.
Yeah, right.
They knew what was going on, and they're very happy and supportive. And, my coworkers are the best. And I credit them with helping me be successful, because they've made it so easy for me when we're out. But because they knew, and they knew what was going on, I have no problem, placing my order special. Usually when the waiter comes and said, does anybody have any questions, or are you guys ready to order? And people are still trying to figure it out. I immediately say, well, I have a few questions. And then by the time I ask my questions and I get mine ordered, everybody else is ready to go.
Yeah, right. And that's a really great insight. Yeah.
Yes.
You're a great person to have at the table whenever, oh crap, you go first. Oh, you go first.
And the funny thing is now, even when we have new people come and join us for dinner, they hear what I order or the little adjustments that I make. And they usually comment, well, that sounds way better than what was on the menu. Or I wish I could have ordered that. Like, I would have much rather eaten that than what, all this fried stuff or whatnot. So it works out very well.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Be out there, be authentic, and be real. And you put it, the other thing you did was you put it in the realm of health.
Yes.
Right? You put it in the medical realm. And again, that disarms peer pressure. I am doing this for my health. It's a medical protocol, right? It takes away their own issues. Most people have their own issues. They feel guilty because you're improving yourself, right? Oh, she's trying to lose weight. I'm not there yet, right? So I'm going to try subconsciously. Hey, are you sure you don't want dessert? I'm going to have to. And you get rid of all of that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're more comfortable. They're more comfortable. You can go about your business.
Yep. Yeah. And I travel sometimes 2 and 3 weeks out of the month. So
I know.
So it's not even just a random, 2 or 3 days here and there. So if you are out there and you travel a lot for work and you think, I don't know if I can do this or if this will work for me, it is definitely doable, 100% doable, just by
Again,
making some small changes.
you just have to have a commitment, right? And
Yes.
you were desperate enough when you got started again, and most people have to get to that place, right?
Mhm.
But you were desperate enough again to wholeheartedly jump in with both feet and surrender to the protocol.
Yes.
And you weren't going to let anything get in your way.
Yep.
And you've told me stories when you travel. Hey, there's a grocery store right near the hotel.
Yep.
I've got a refrigerator. I've got a suite or a little kitchenette.
Mhm.
So you do those kind of things to support yourself, right?
Sometimes I travel. One of my favorite things to do is I cut up bell peppers. I love to eat bell peppers. They travel well. I pre-cut a couple bags of those and put them in a baggie with paper towel and I check them in my check bag and they go right in the refrigerator. So even if I don't have like a kitchenette or anything, they go in the refrigerator. So I have something when I'm on the plane, or I have something if we don't get lunch, because we have to work through lunch one day, I still have some vegetables there. So like just little tricks of, those are some very simple things and you can take them on the air. They'll go through the baggage check. So you can take those as a carry on. So that's very helpful. There's a will, there's a way. You can
100%.
absolutely do it. And I think sometimes the you've got like the devil and the angel on your shoulder. Sometimes that the devil says, you're traveling. You can't help it. You need to eat those carbs. Go ahead and eat those fries. You're traveling, or this is your situation. You absolutely can do it and stay in protocol. And you feel so good when people are very tired and exhausted after lunch. I'm ready to go. I've got energy and
right. And those are some of my favorite stories that you would tell. You'd be like, look, I'm in ketosis. You guys are in trouble. Like, I'm not going to slow down. I'm going to have energy all afternoon and into the evening. I don't care what time. We have a job to do, right?
Yes. Yep. Yes. And, you're not hungry or starving. Ketosis is kind of nice because, you eat when you're supposed to eat, but you're not starving. So, because you don't have that sugar crash, sugar crash and now you're hungry and you need something. So.
Absolutely. I think, and that's one of people's biggest fears in considering doing the Ideal Protein program, especially men, is that, oh my God, I'm only going to eat that. I'm going to be hungry. Oh my God, all the time. Mm-hmm. And they don't understand that a beneficial side effect of being in a state of ketosis, which you are in for phase 1 weight loss, is appetite suppression, which is the big hot buzzword these days. I need, something to suppress my appetite so I can lose weight. Mm-hmm. It's a natural thing that occurs when ketones are flowing through your bloodstream and you're in a state of ketosis in phase 1. And I even get guys that come in and say, Doc, I wasn't hungry, so I skipped the snack. I'm like, oh God, don't skip the snack, right?
Yeah.
You need that protein. You need that for your muscles, et cetera. Right?
Yes. And for me, and we kind of touched on this, and I know we're going to touch on it a little bit later, but again, the second time around, I found within 4 or 5 days of being on protocol, all of that body pain that I was feeling went from 100% down to about 20%. And then within 2 weeks, it was probably at 2%. I still have little flare-ups here and there. And so, but definitely not like I haven't been back to where I was at the beginning. So for me, eating off protocol isn't worth it for the pain to come back. The
100%.
weight loss is bonus. So I feel so much better. And then I get this bonus of this weight loss,
And again, this is the value of your story. This is the value of doing this 2 times around, right? Mm-hmm. You were in this place of fibromyalgia and ill health and being overweight and no energy. You gained everything. You had life possible. Mm-hmm. Life stole it. It slipped away from you. Mm-hmm. And here you are doing it over again and getting the exact same experience. In fact, it's a little bit more impactful because things were
Yes.
worse this time, right?
Yes. Much, much worse. I never want to experience that. My ability to walk was so bad. I could not walk through the produce department of the grocery store. My husband would have to drop me off at the front because if I had to walk a distance from the parking lot, it was like
Yeah.
every step I had to, it was like, is that step worth it? If
You
I
had,
take
yeah.
these steps
Oh my
now, I'm not
God.
going to do these steps. I couldn't do the grocery store and then go to the post office or then go to Target.
Right.
Literally, I remember one day walking a very short distance to lunch at work, and we came back, and I was just having so much pain, and I went to the restroom and was thinking, I don't know how I'm going to get back to my office because I was in
Wow.
so much pain, and so I don't ever want to be there ever again,
No,
ever.
no. And
So
again, that's right.
yeah,
And so, like I said, twice as valuable the second time around. And I have every confidence that you're never going to let this go.
no,
Right.
no.
And as we love to do with all of our clients, it's not just about the weight. There are a number of symptoms that we all came in with that
Mhm.
were related to that poor metabolic state, to those carbs, and to that insulin. And that's our barometer, as you'll see when we go through phase 2 and we're trying to figure out your body's carbohydrate tolerance. It's
Mhm.
not, oh my God, I'm 5 pounds up all of a sudden. It's, oh, you know what? I'm starting to get that fibro pain back. Oh, I'm starting to get, kind of brain foggy. I don't have the energy. My digestion is off.
Yes.
There's all these things, and we use these symptoms that you will now associate it 100% with your nutrition,
Mhm.
right? Yeah,
Your food is your medicine. I say that
right.
to my mom all the time, who has also struggled with her weight and has diabetes and all the things. And
Yeah,
her food, our food is our medicine. So many people, I know it's our experience, and you can tell me. I'm sure a lot of your clients, you end up off your blood pressure meds, off your diabetes medications, off, um, even some of your, like depression medications. Just from friends and family that I know that have been
yeah,
on this program, real even early on in the beginning, you have to, keep in touch with your doctor because
yeah,
your meds are going to end up being too strong. And it's like your food is your medicine. And when you're
yeah.
putting these things in your body, it's like poison. It's like, you're eating these sugar or greasy or, it's literally poisoning your body. It's
Right.
making you hurt. It's making your blood pressure raise. It's giving you your blood sugars go up. When you're eating clean and you're eating, on phase 1, that's your medicine. Um,
Yeah.
and your body heals like my fibromyalgia heals your stomach, like you were saying, some people that have those things, that it all heals. So I may have
So
jumped ahead, but
no, this is perfect. This is a great segue. You are working perfectly with me here, right? I was super excited last week when Keto Mojo, one of my favorite tools that I use myself on my personal journey, Keto Mojo posted this study that talks about the efficacy, safety, and tolerability of a very low-calorie ketogenic diet in obese women with fibromyalgia, a pilot interventional study. So, this is going to be my new thing. I'm going to wave studies around because study geek say there's a study out there. And I love the fact that, this has been your experience. And
yes,
whereas this study was not out when you did it the first time,
yeah,
this is what's happening in research in ketogenic nutrition. Every week I'm seeing something that's either coming out or something that we didn't know about that was published years ago is coming to light now that we're finding it helps in so many different ways and so many different things. And so I wanted to read a little bit from the study, and you can kind of chime in as to whether this was your experience or not.
sure.
Uh, Again, fascinating to hear the introduction where it talks about obesity can worsen fibromyalgia, and a very low-calorie ketogenic diet is a potential therapeutic option for diseases that share clinical and pathophysiological features with fibromyalgia. In this pilot interventional study, we investigate the effects of a very low-calorie ketogenic diet in obese women with fibromyalgia. Now, I love this because this isn't just a ketogenic diet. This is the perfect description of the ideal protein protocol as a very low-calorie ketogenic diet, which is kind of next level or next steps, right? And so there's a number of studies now that we're seeing on VLC-KD, which literally is immediately transferable to what we do with ideal protein. And the conclusion was, these are the first data on the efficacy of a very low-calorie ketogenic diet in fibromyalgia. All patients achieved improvements in different domains of the disease, which, here's an interesting note, was well maintained also after carbohydrate reintroduction. Our results suggest that ketosis might exert beneficial effects in fibromyalgia beyond rapid weight loss, right? And so here's the thing, and this is the good news for you, Deb, because I know that there's some fear and trepidation with this, is if I do reintroduce carbs, will it immediately come back, right?
Yes.
And so again, the beauty of our system in phase 2, when we start those macros and we inch our way into those carbs, we're going to find out what that limit is for you. And we're going to use pain as one of your indicators as to whether we've exceeded that or not.
And I appreciate that. We'll definitely trust the process.
Absolutely. And again, I think the other part of this is to understand that it's not about the weight. It's not because people are carrying excess weight around that their fibromyalgia symptoms get worse, that their pain is worsened. It's physiologic. Yes. That pain, the sensitivity in those nerve endings and what happens with that intensifies as people are gaining weight, along with the weight gain, because they are both symptoms of a common metabolic problem on the inside, right? Like you said, you've already said it, is that it didn't take long for you to feel improvement. It was during the first week, right? Even the dog's excited about this, right? Right?
Yeah, first week, absolutely. And to have not even had a frame of reference of what to expect. It was just something that I noticed, and I noticed it again this time. And I didn't know about the study or that was even a known thing. It's just been my experience. Right. So
yeah.
And kind of also going with the pain and how I couldn't walk or even go to the grocery store. I have now, a week ago, I wore high heels to work all day.
I was just going to go to that story, and I was going to ask you to tell us that story.
Yes.
The excitement that you exhibited here in the office, I'm not going to forget that for a while.
Yes. There was a day, August of last year, that I was so embarrassed. We were hosting somebody from out of the country, and in the office, and I really wanted to be there, and I wanted to go and help host this person. And none of my shoes, my feet hurt so bad. And so I had to wear sneakers. So I had my office attire and sneakers, and that might not be a big deal for people, but it's just not my nature. I like to wear heels. I like to be a little more dressed up. And so that was a really hard day for me. And so for me to be able to wear heels, like I would have worn, when I was younger, all day long, and my ankles didn't swell, my feet didn't hurt. I was able to walk and get all my steps in. That was a huge milestone. Absolutely. I mean, just one of those non-scale victories.
well, and again, you came in and you were telling me, how many thousands of steps did you average, on the trip? And
yes, 9 or 10,000 steps a day. And I don't normally get that many, but yes, I was able to do that many. I couldn't have done, 500 steps last fall.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you were telling me all that stuff. And then you said And I wore heels.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was
Oh
so
my
great.
gosh. Yes.
It was so absolutely awesome. I loved that.
Yes. The non-scale victories are just as exciting as, like I keep saying, weight loss is bonus, like all
Right?
these little things, fitting on the airplane. I fly a lot, walking down the aisle in the airplane.
Seat
Seatbelt.
extenders.
I think I
Yes.
sent you a picture, didn't I? Was it in January? I sent you a picture, and the seatbelt, I had this much extra seatbelt.
Yeah.
And these non-scale victories that are just so exciting
Yeah.
to.
And I think this is also a great, I want to touch on this too. Um, what was your coworkers? What are people's reaction? Because again, you're seeing people then that have not seen you lose this weight yet, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so, in the past, it's always been our experience that when people are doing the protocol correctly, the people around them who don't know that they're doing something, their initial concern is that, well, gosh, they're losing weight really fast. I hope they're not sick. I hope they're
Yes.
healthy, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's always been kind of a funny thing where it's like, well, oh no, I'm doing this program. And if
Yes.
you're doing it right, people should have that reaction because it does happen so fast,
Yes.
right?
I feel like 3 different things. I get, you look great. Are you okay? You're sure you're okay? And I'm like, yes,
Right.
I'm very healthy. I'm fine. I'm doing a program. This is weight loss on purpose. So, because they're concerned that you're sick. Then the next thing I get is, how are you doing it? And I think, how are you doing it? And tell me more because I need it. I get that a lot as well.
Yeah.
And then I also get, are you taking the shot? And I think that everybody's got their path and their journey. But I think that a lot of people, how I went to the doctor and he said I needed to lose weight. And I knew exactly what I needed to
Yes.
do and what would work. I think people, they don't know about ideal protein. And now they're
Right.
hearing about this shots, different shots. And maybe they think that's their only hope. Okay, I've tried every diet out there, all these fad diets or all these things. They're not learning how to eat and how to eat for their body and all the things. And so they don't even know where else to turn. And so they think,
Right.
okay, I'm going to take this shot. And so I'm able to tell people, no, it's actually my diet. And this is purely how I'm eating. And then they want to know more. And
Yeah.
after I see people, I'm getting the emails, please send me a link. Please tell me what you're doing. Where do you go? And so, so I get, a handful of those different reactions.
I thought, when you said that to me the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, what a commentary on society today. What a commentary on the landscape today, that you felt like, when people see that you've lost so much weight, they're jumping to that conclusion almost immediately
They
because
think that's the only way.
we're so bombarded with it in the commercials and on all the talk shows and the celebrities and that kind of stuff. And the literature is showing that people are not getting that dramatic of an effect, but yet that's what they're able to see from these very specific individuals. And so, again, like you said, they don't know that ideal protein has now been around for over 20 years. And that we are able to achieve healthier, faster weight loss in less expensive than going on any of these medications, right? And we're able to do this in a predictable, repeatable, and measurable way.
Without side effects.
Without side effects, right? And without hunger.
Right.
Okay. And that's kind of the big eye opener, right? And it will work a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time. But hopefully nobody needs to do that, right?
You just
we're just
no more, no less. Just that be your motto.
And that's a great segue into the next point that I wanted to make, right? You can't hack the hack.
Right.
The ideal protein protocol is the hack for weight loss, right?
It
I had
is.
a client in here today. Her birthday's in 2 weeks, and she's like, "How can I speed this up, doc? How can I, give me a hack?" And I looked at her, and it was the first time it hit me. I was like, "You can't hack the hack. This is the hack. Eat the sheet is the hack."
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Absolutely. And it will work.
It will
So,
work.
what's interesting is that, we are starting to get the first round of people who have tried the medication. And unfortunately, their body, it just does not tolerate it well. And so they're starting to, hear, well, okay, your nutritional option actually is ideal protein. And so it's super exciting to get these people and to get them going again. Because again, when you start this program, you start feeling better.
Yes.
You have more energy. Your gastrointestinal system clears out. It feels better. It improves, right?
Yes.
So all of those things and all of those reasons, we want to be able to get the news and the word out there that there's definitely more than one way to do this.
Yes.
And we've got an amazing way.
Right? And this will work. It will 100% work. I can't stress that enough. It will work.
Right. Hey, and you know what? That brings up the other study that I wanted to tell you. I've got a study. Doc's got a study. This is going to be my thing. This is going to be my shtick, right? So I've got a study. And in fact, this study is on ideal protein. This is a peer-reviewed, published study that used the ideal protein protocol that was published in September of 2021 in Obesity Science and Practice. And it compared using the ideal protein protocol against your traditional low-calorie, low-fat approach, generally endorsed by certain health organizations. And in this study, they took people for 12 weeks, either doing ideal protein or following this low-calorie, low-fat approach to losing weight. And the results are out of control. On average, the ideal protein people lost 21.3 pounds in 12 weeks.
12 weeks.
And on average, the people that were eating low calorie, low fat, right? It's about calories and it's about fat. They lost 3.5 pounds in 12 weeks. I mean, that is 7 times the amount of weight loss using the low carbohydrate ketogenic approach to weight loss, using the ideal protein program, very low calorie ketogenic diet. These are the kind of results that we are able to achieve naturally and in a healthy way. And so I just wanted to read the conclusion from this study. Well, what did they say? Well, they said in conclusion, this 3-month randomized parallel group trial showed that the ideal protein system resulted in greater weight loss, and it's not just about weight, and reduction in several cardiovascular disease risk factors than the guideline-based low-calorie, low-fat dietary behavioral intervention, both among Black and white adults with obesity and additional cardiovascular risks. Thus, the ideal protein system appears to be a safe and efficacious way to lose weight, reduce cardiovascular risk factors among men and women with obesity and additional cardiovascular risk factors. What do you say about that, Deb? Do you think they got it right?
Yes, absolutely. And, one of the things I didn't mention, I did have the cardiac CAT scan done and I was fine. And when I did do a follow-up with my vein surgeon after I'd lost about 70 pounds, and my symptoms that brought me in to see him are gone. And I said, well, you told me to lose weight. And so I went and lost some weight, and this is where I'm at. And he just looked at me and he said, I tell people that every day, but you're the only one that did it.
Right? I remember that day when you came
Yes.
in. I was like, that is so powerful.
Yes. So, all of the different medical things, I mean, I've just seen improvement. And I believe you have some of my stats for my metabolic health. So
I do. And again, we're just going to talk about them in generalities for the most part. But as I've said on the show before, and I think that this is something that bears repeating almost every show, with ideal protein, we don't just see people lose weight, we see improvement of metabolic markers, which really helps to show us and measure how we're improving metabolic health. The 5 factors that generally are accepted in the research and literature that define metabolic health and or metabolic syndrome or metabolic disease are waist circumference, blood pressure, blood glucose, triglycerides, and HDL. And on your journey, we have had the opportunity to see all of these things change. Waist circumference, we did talk about right before you came on the air. Your waist circumference is improved by 8 inches this time around, since we've been doing this now, which I believe is 9 months.
Yes.
And it is now in the metabolically healthy range. So we're super excited about that. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about your experience with blood pressure, because this is a super important thing that I feel like there are people in Ideal Protein Nation that still don't quite understand. So from your personal experience, let's talk about first time around as well as now second time around.
So the first time around, so just in general, I've always had blood pressure on the lower side. So normal for me would be like a 106 over 76 or something like that, 68. And that's pretty much been my whole life. Even when I was overweight,
right,
it stayed low. I know a lot of people, when they get heavier, the blood pressure rises, but for me, mine stays low. So a lot of
people, I think, and so let's just say that again. Okay.
Yes.
There are people out there whose blood pressure is always low.
Yes.
Right. And they will know, they should know when they're adults that, they've been told, oh my gosh, your blood pressure is low. Whether they are overweight, whether they have different health conditions or not, there's still this phenomenon with these people that their blood pressure is low.
Yes.
And there's certain symptoms that go along with that with normal everyday life, right?
Yes. So if it gets too low, you're tired, your vision gets impaired, you have a headache or kind of dizziness. You just really like the tired feeling. You feel like you need to lay down. And
people will live this way, right?
Yes, absolutely. So, and as you know, a lot of people with high blood pressure who are on blood pressure meds, when they do this program, really quickly, they start needing to lower their blood pressure meds because their blood pressure starts normalizing. Well, for me, who starts with naturally low blood pressure, the first time I did this program, my blood pressure got really, really low. Bottom number being in the high 40s. And yes,
wow.
Very just super symptomatic. I did go to the doctor, was like, I don't know what's going on. Hadn't really related it to the fact I was eating so clean and, was in ketosis and all the things. And I think at that time I was told to, drink some caffeine and I don't normally drink caffeine, just anything that we could do to just help try to raise the blood pressure a little bit. So coming back to Ideal Protein this time, I remember the very first day that I talked to you, because I just laid all my concerns out on the table.
Yeah.
I'm back. Here it is. These are my worries. I was concerned about my blood pressure. And I said, Dr. Barnes, we can't let my blood pressure tank like the first time. We got to figure out a way to keep it raised. And you said, we have the answer for that. There's been research and studies, and now we have the answer. And do you want? Should I share?
So that's the thing, right? And back when you first did this, and we were still pretty much rookies. We were in our second year doing it here in the office.
Yes.
And the advice is, tell her to have a little extra salt, right? And so, okay, well, that kind of makes sense, right? If sodium tends to increase people's blood pressure and yours is low, then throw in a little extra salt. But there really wasn't too much information and or guidelines out there. Like I said, research in ketogenic nutrition, literally I got to get this graph. There is a graph that shows exponential research and literature put out there now. And so since that time, one of the rabbit holes that I've been down is understanding electrolyte balance in the ideal protein protocol, in ketogenic nutrition. And I'll point you back to the second show that I did with Ed Reardon, ideal protein legend Ed Reardon, huge mentor for me. We did almost an entire show on sodium and the importance in phase one, because you're not the only person that experienced this. And, so there are people out there. If you start the program with low blood pressure and during the program, you don't feel good in phase one, we need to up that sodium intake until you do, right? And this is really what we've been able to do that's been super successful for people. There's a number of different things you can do in protocol, whether it's eating pickles if you like them as part of your vegetables, and or drinking the juice.
Yes.
Beef broth or chicken broth, great source of sodium. Use it in cooking. Drink a warm mug before bed. It will help you sleep through the night. Restless sleep is one of the most common symptoms of low sodium. There's a little bit of electrolytes in our flavor enhancers, and there's some other electrolyte products that are very complementary to the protocol that we use in the office here.
I remember, so the first half of last year, before I came back and met with you, I was having all the swelling. So I was trying to lower my sodium.
Yes.
And I remember trying to have less than, I don't know, like 800 milligrams or something a day to try. I was just doing everything that I in my power that I knew that, you've got leg swelling, have less sodium.
Right.
And I remember talking with you and you said, okay, I want you to add these packets to your drink that has sodium in it. And I was like, but Dr. Barnes, look at my legs. And you said, trust the process. And you are 1,000,000% right, as always, with this whole thing. I have a large amount of sodium. The swelling continued to go down through this whole process. I drink the ocean pretty much in my coffee, the chocolate ones, and my drinks, I, use the flavored ones. And it works. And my blood pressure, I just had my annual checkup last week, and my blood pressure was 110/80. So
wow,
it was spot on. And I talked to my doctor about what I was drinking, and I showed her my packets, and I told her how many I drink a day, and she's like, it's working for you. So, and this is the same doctor that I told May of last year, I'm lowering my sodium. I'm doing this. I'm doing, all the things that I was doing to try to help. And her mind was just blown with my results. She just kept saying, you look so healthy. You look so happy. You look so, the whole time I was in there. So, I was
and again, it's a lot more nuanced than that. And we can get, I will refer you back to Ed Reardon's show. I wish I had the number of the episode at the tip of my tongue, but the gist of it is, if we're eating unhealthy amounts of carbohydrates and our insulin is in control of our metabolism, sodium is going to cause all kinds of problems for that person. However, if we're in ketosis, if glucagon is in control of our metabolism, that increases our need for sodium just on a flatline basis. So, that's where this comes from. It's now been well researched in the literature. And, anecdotally, we see just all kinds of great things happening where people weren't thriving. If you're not thriving in phase one, you need to be thriving when you're in phase one. Lack of sleep, no energy, brain fog, that kind of stuff. It's not your blood sugar. It's your sodium level and your hydration level. Yep. So I love that. And again, you have more spring in your step. You've got energy for days, no brain fog.
Nope.
It's been a totally different experience. And I might say that your weight loss was even quicker this time.
Yes.
And I don't have an answer for that. First 12 weeks, Deb, we talked about that. We talked about that ideal protein study, 12 weeks. We'll put this up against anything, whether it's a low fat, low calorie diet, whether you're using a GLP-1. Your first 4 weeks were above average, I have to say, right? But how many pounds did you lose in the first 12 weeks?
You might need to double check me, but I think it was 38 pounds.
39.
39 pounds.
39 pounds in 12 weeks.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
That's hacking the hack.
Absolutely.
That's eating the sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been, your reintroduction to ideal protein.
Yeah. And it was right about that marker that I was not worried about the next work travel trip that I was going to have to walk through an airport or, go to the grocery store or things like that, because it was right around that, 3-month mark that I had lost just enough weight that, that my swelling wasn't happening. I mean, the pain and my fibromyalgia pain had gone away, but with lots of exertion, I was still having some circulatory issues and things like that. But right around that 3-month mark, I kind of, went down the other side of the hill and was, not experiencing pain and going, oh, look at me. Oh, look how far I walked. Oh, we walked here too. So the fact that my body responded so well. My body loves ideal protein. I responded so well, so fast. This picture here, this one here on the left, that was a Mother's Day outing that my son arranged last year. So Mother's Day's coming up in a couple of days. So that picture was 1 year ago this month.
Yeah.
The girl on the right is way happier.
Although, and we talked about this too, although the girl on the left, she doesn't look like she's not happy. Right. And I will say, when I asked you for before pictures, you supplied me with quite a bit, which warmed my heart. A lot of people will not even let pictures be taken, when they're at a certain weight or when they're in that stage of their life. I certainly was one of those that headed straight for the back of the pack, so everybody could hide my body, and that kind of thing. But you were still living life. You were still allowing pictures to be taken, and I really loved that about when you sent those things.
Yeah.
But you just cannot, you can't deny that. Yes. That lady on the right side is much more excited about how she feels these days.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. I feel that she feels so much better. She's not in pain. She's living life. And I know it seems so simple, like able to walk, but I literally,
you only take it for granted until you lose that ability.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. And, if I kept going down that path, not being able to walk in my 40s, where am I going to be in my 50s or 60s, or
that's exactly where I was going. Right. At that age too, if you start accepting that as normalcy.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
All right. You know what, Deb? So here's the deal, right? We are on camera. You've already said it. We are so looking forward to you finishing up this journey. We've got a little bit to go, and we're going to finish up the second round of phase 1. And we're going to slide into phase 2, learn some great, healthy human nutrition so that you still feel this way, but you're able to eat some more fun foods, enjoy some healthy fats in your life, figure out, where a carb might fit in at certain specific times, purposeful. That's going to be a whole new adventure for us that I'm looking forward to.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited to trust the process and keep going.
Fantastic. Thank you, Deb. Thank you so much. You've been amazing tonight. Like I said, initially there might have been a little trepidation, but you nailed it. So again, I can't thank you enough for getting outside your comfort zone. This show is going to be very important to a lot of people's ideal protein journey, and hopefully help them to make the hard decisions, whether to start for the first time or to go in and face their clinic and start for that second.
Come back. Yes. If I can just inspire even one person to come back and take their life back, that's the goal here. If we can help anybody come in for the first time or come back and start living life again, you can do it.
I love that. Thank you so much, Deb. Hang out backstage. We'll talk after the show. Let me wrap things up and land this plane.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, thank you so much for staying with us. A little bit longer show, but we had a lot of great stuff to say. Again, I think Deb's story is more than miraculous. on so many different levels. And please, if you've got friends who are in similar situations, whether, whatever they're dealing with, health condition wise, symptom wise, metabolic marker wise, decision wise, as to how they're going to lose weight, please send them this show. Give Deb a chance to help them with their struggles. And maybe they too can start to pursue their life possible. So I'm going to wrap this one up. But please, as always, like, subscribe, share the episodes with videos on Facebook and YouTube. And the audio is anywhere where you can download audio podcasts. So please get on iTunes and Spotify and what have you. I'm getting really close to Joe Rogan, so I need some more subscribers to help me out. No, not even a speck in his eye. However, please share the show. And as always, keep reaching for your life possible.